Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for those who've been coming back to watch my videos. I'm so happy. May God bless you. If you're new here, my name is Tabitha and I do urban agriculture, and this is what I'm doing in this channel. I'm teaching people how you can do agriculture in an urban setup. In our last few videos, we've been discussing about broiler chicken, and we've discussed so much about it, but we still have much more to do on broiler farming. So today we shall be discussing how you can raise broiler chicks with no mortality, the secrets you can apply to ensure that you raise chicks without deaths. It is worth noting that death is one of the major causes of losses in broiler farms, and so it is necessary to avoid it at all costs. And that's why we're doing this video, to ensure that anyone who is doing broilers or anyone who is willing to start broiler farming, they can do so without incurring unnecessary losses. So today we are going to be discussing how to rear broiler chicks without mortality. And first of all, let us look at what causes death in a broiler farm when one is rearing chicks. One of the reasons is genetic causes, meaning the chicks you buy have not been well bred, and so you find they have issues in their genetic setup. So that could be one of the reasons where there could be deaths in chicks. Another reason is management. Management of your chicks also matters a lot, and poor management can cause death, and we are going to be discussing what we can do about management in this same video. Another cause of death is nutrition causes. Here it means you're not feeding your birds in the right food or in the right way, and so they end up dying. Another cause is diseases, and we're also going to be discussing how you can address diseases in a broiler farm. So having known what causes death in chicks, it's easy to manage them, and we are going to start with management. Management causes we've seen, we can see things like starving the birds, hygiene, when you use dirty equipment to feed them, or when their houses are not in good shape. That can also cause death. So let us go to managing chicks, how you can manage them to ensure that they are not dying. We've discussed in our previous video about brooder management, and we shall be discussing the same here at a deeper length. So let us look at how you can manage your brooder to ensure that your chicks are not dying. We discussed about litter, and litter here means what you're going to use on your brooder, on the floor of your brooder. We discussed that the floor has to be dry all the time, and we said in this case we use wood shavings. It is important to note that you're supposed to use wood shavings and not sawdust, because when you use sawdust, the chicks are going to be feeding on the sawdust, and they can end up dying. So when it comes to management and litter management, in this case, you must use clean wood shavings to ensure that your chicks have a dry floor and they are not feeding on the sawdust, because you will not have used the sawdust. So that is one thing to ensure that you have in a brooder, and that can eliminate cases of death in your chicks. Another thing is temperature. We've been discussing this. We said from day 1 to day 10 of your chicks, they're supposed to have adequate temperature in the brooder. So that is also a very important point to remember always when you're rearing your chicks. And another point is about air quality. You're supposed to have good ventilation for your brooder or for your chicken houses to ensure that air is getting in and out of the house, to ensure that the birds have clean air throughout their lifetime. Also, this comes with proper ventilation to ensure that you have open spaces that are adequate to let in air and clean air, and now to let in clean air and also have fresh air moving in and out every time in your brooder. Another thing is water quality. It is important to ensure you have clean water provided to the birds all the time. So the quality of water also matters, because when you provide dirty water, or when you provide water in dirty equipment, it means that there are chances of introducing diseases to your birds and they might end up dying. So quality of water also matters a lot when it comes to management. Another thing to consider is lighting, and as we said in our previous video that birds are supposed to have, broiler chicks are supposed to have light throughout their lifetime, at night and during the day, and this is adequate light to ensure that they are able to feed well and grow with the required rate. So also continue to insist on lighting and also having quality feeds. It is important to identify a reliable supplier who will be providing you with quality foods to ensure that your chicks feed the right way and avoid diseases and avoid mortality in the long run. So that is how you can manage, how you can deal with management causes of death of broiler chicks. So when it comes to the generic causes of death, you deal with it by identifying a trusted supplier. In most cases, when you find a trusted supplier, they'll have done their research, they'll have reared quality birds, and chances of having birds that have the generic issues are lower. So it means when you seek for a trusted supplier, you are assured that generic causes of death in your farm are at zero. So it is important to seek advice from other people who've been doing the same business and ensure that you are getting quality chicks from reliable suppliers. So when it comes to nutrition also calls for you to source for a reliable supplier of poultry feeds. There are so many companies out there, but there are those that provide quality foods which guarantees you good healthy birds. So it is also important to do your own research, find the reliable suppliers that are there for quality feeds, buy from them, and be assured that you will not have deaths occurring due to nutritional causes in your farm. So that is also another important point to remember. So chick rearing, broiler rearing is easy, but I can also say it is difficult at the same time if you lack the right information. So it is important to ensure that whatever you're doing at any given time, you have the right information at hand. Before you take a step, make sure to seek advice from those who've been there. Or, most important, it is important to have a vet. A vet will ensure that you have all the required information with you. In case of any issues arising at your farm, a vet will be there to advise you the way forward. So it is important to have a vet who comes to your farm regularly, who comes to check your birds, to check your structures, to ensure that whatever you're doing in your farm, you're doing it in the right way. And by doing so, you'll also reduce the rate of deaths in your chicks. And that is a very important point to remember. There are other things you also need to remember when you're rearing chicks, to avoid them dying now and then. For example, there are times when maybe you buy food in large quantity and then you store them somewhere. Unfortunately, maybe the food gets water without your knowledge. That means the food will start growing molds. Molds, when they grow on food and you feed the same to your birds, chances are you're going to lose your birds. They are going to die due to the infections they might get from the molds. So it is important to ensure that you store your food properly, free from dampness, free from any water, to make sure that they do not develop mold. And in case any food develops mold, you're not supposed to feed it to your birds, because if you do so, you're going to have birds dying in your farm. And also, there is a vaccination schedule for broiler birds, which we are going to do for another video. But for you to reduce deaths for your birds, it is important to follow the vaccination schedule as it is taught by the experts. So it is important to vaccinate your birds when it is needed. Also, when they get sick, it is important to treat them using medication. And maybe when you're told to medicate them for 5 days, it is good to stick to that medication process to ensure that you medicate your birds for the required number of days. Because if you do not do so, they might end up not getting healed completely, and the disease may recur and cause deaths on your birds. So it is important to adhere to medication and treatment processes, and also vaccination schedules to ensure that you reduce mortality at your farm. So that's some of the tips you can apply to ensure that once you begin your broiler farms, they are not dying now and then. You're not incurring so much deaths in your farm. So it is important to adhere to those points, and stay tuned for more points, because as I told you, I do so much. I do cows, I do broiler chickens, I do kienyeji, and so many other animals which we shall be discussing here. And most of the things that I teach is through experience. And so what I'm telling you is what I know applies to you when you're doing your broiler farming. So put to practice whatever I'm teaching you, and keep coming back for more tips, because this is very important when you decide to do an urban agriculture. This is very important to acquire the right knowledge, to see what other people have done, and to see the mistakes they've made and avoid them. So I must say I'm excited for everyone who has been coming back to watch my videos. May God bless you once more. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, consider sharing my videos with others. Also like and comment. And if you have any questions, you can write them at the comment section, and I'll be so much happy to answer them. So thank you so much for watching my videos, and stay tuned for the next one. God bless you.